Live from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Podcasting around the world. You're listening to the GloucesterCast podcast, a production of Joey Shimataro and Good Morning Gloucester Media. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show with your host, Joey Shimataro, and his crew of merry castaways. No piping plovers will be intentionally harmed in the production of this podcast.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
GloucesterCast 461. I want to congratulate Pat for not destroying the brand last week.
You're more than welcome. No pressure.
You guys did a fantastic job. We're joined by Mr. Chris McCarthy down in the bottom right, which we can't hear currently. That guy. Where am I? What would I do? I would go like this. That guy. Right there. The one who's showing us his bum. Pat and Jimmy Dalpiaz in the top right corner. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
And we already have 23 viewers right now. We have a couple guests coming on. Carroll, who is the health director, I think.
Director of Public Health for the City of Gloucester, I believe.
Thank you. I always mess it up. We also, for first time, so if Jimmy has been tasked with making sure that I ask this podcast virgin death row sub and death row meal question. And it's the first time for him. The fire chief, Eric Smith. I don't think I've ever met him.
Really?
No, I don't think I've ever met him. But I can't wait to hear. They're going to talk about the vaccinations, some of the misconceptions, and what the procedure is going to be for the rollout. Because there's a lot of questions I think that are being directed to them. So if we could help get that word out, it'll be probably a lot easier for them to deal with.
And what prizes do we have today, Joseph?
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that little reminder. We have our friend Wayne the mailman donated two koozies. One Massachusetts Red Sox one.
Really cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Really cool little lighthouse on there. You can see that, right? And the other one is for a bottle. So it's got a bottle sleeve Celtics one. Wayne the mailman. So if you share the podcast and write shared in the on the Facebook feed, first you have to share it. Then you write shared. Pat will take your name down at the end of the podcast. We will draw. I think we'll do one prize. One person gets both koozies.
We got 4 shares already.
I want to give props to the people who shared it. So just give me the names that people.
Joey Foote, Susan Casey Lipset, Brenda Leahy, and Michael Bertolino. So far as I've seen.
Nice, and tell Brenda that you're going to have her prize from last week, right?
Yep, Brenda, I will deliver your prize with you. I'll get in touch with you. Excuse me.
COVID.
I'll get in touch with you and we'll make arrangements, Brenda.
There you go. So we got that going. I don't have any audio for Mr. McCarthy. I don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully he can get that straightened out.
Working on it.
We got like half of the topics are his topics, so hopefully we can get that straightened out. Pat, there's a Martin Luther King online event tomorrow. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Tomorrow at the Gloucester Meeting House Foundation is having their 5th annual Martin Luther King Day celebration. It will be online this year. I am going to share the link if anybody is interested. And I think it's at 2. Tomorrow, Monday, for Martin Luther King Day.
And did you put the link? It's GloucesterMeetingHouse.org is the link. So you got that going for you. Cape Ann Live has been crushing the local sports.
Oh, they have been.
absolutely crush it. Jimmy, have you been following along with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first of all, I think it's great, once again, that the kids can get out there and play. And, with everything going on, that they can go out and do this. They are working so hard to keep Ann live, because not only are they doing Gloucester boys and girls basketball, they're also doing hockey. And for the first time, big shout out, we have a varsity girls hockey team. There's basically 3 upperclassmen, 1 senior, and 12 freshmen on their team.
Wow.
They're a young team. So they're getting out there playing. So that's great. So they're doing hockey, and they're doing some Rockport hockey. So they are everywhere. Lisa Olson and Phil Nicastro. I mean, Phil's doing the hockey and Lisa's doing the basketball. They are running all over the place. And, of course, Jim's filming it all. So
Jimmy Capillo, our guy.
Capillo. He's something. I mean, here we are watching football and everything else on TV, and I'm looking at these things going, Jim is great. He's just as great as I'm watching the NFL games. It's really spot on.
It is, and it's really good quality. And shout out to the athletic director, Brian LaFata, who's been keeping us surprised. His social media presences. He tags me in the thing so I can put it up on the blog. And,
if you go to
that helps a lot.
If you go to the Gloucester Athletics, they have plenty of COVID pages, what they handed the parents, and no spectators at games. They have all the rules. It's clearly defined what's going on, and he also has many of the games. You can also go on Gloucester Athletics Facebook. If they're not going to be on Jim Capillo's Cape Ann Live, they could be on the Gloucester Athletics Facebook too. So I mean, they're trying the best they can to get to show everybody that can't make to the game because of the COVID rules.
No, that's good stuff. See, this is another one. So there's a topic that you. I want to bring this up right near the top of the podcast, because this has blown me away, because I think one of the best burgers in town is at the hotel, the Beauport Hotel, 1606 Restaurant and Bar. Monday night, I think this deal is just such a no-brainer, and we're all going to go. They have $12 burger, and they're gourmet burgers. They're not, and I think there's 3 different burgers you can choose from, and they have going along with the craft beer for $12. In the promotion online, they show French fries next to it. I don't know if you have to pay for the French fries or if the French fries come with it, but I know it's a burger and a craft beer, and their burgers are phenomenal for $12. Monday night, I think we're planning on going between 6 and 6:30. Going to be a big Good Morning Gloucester gang. So come on out and, wear your mask to come in and sit down and belly up, and let's.
There's 3 choices of the burgers, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, I had one a week and a half ago, and it was one of those things where every bite I would just kind of sit back and savor it, because it was that good. It was just like, oh my!
It's a 2 elbow one, right, Joey? 2 elbow one.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, there he is.
The legend.
The great news about Monday night is Joe will be signing autographs.
He's back, baby. He's back.
Come on down, man. If you want your chest signed, if you want your forehead signed, he's signing everything.
Boobs. Mainly boobs.
Mainly boobs.
Actually, I'll pay to sign boobs. No. But no, it's so there's 3 different burgers to choose from, paired with a New England microbrew for a pint and burger for $12. I don't know if the fries are going to be included or not. But Pat, did you put a link to that?
I did.
Okay.
I did. It's a little complicated, so I didn't show it, but it's in the notes.
Okay, great. All right, Chris, I didn't even know this. You said Sandpiper Bakery is moving to Ipswich at the end of the month?
Yeah. I follow them on Instagram, and I saw that they posted something the beginning of the week or last week, and it was sad to see that they're moving to a bigger space. So,
that is sad to see. My daughters are going to be devastated. That was like one of our Saturday morning go-tos before soccer and stuff like that.
No, I mean they're doing something right over there, and my guess is that they'll continue to do the same and probably have even more stuff to choose from with a bigger kitchen.
Joey, didn't you like the twice bake? One of their things there that you really liked.
I love their avocado toast is my favorite in town.
Yeah.
They have everything. They're just a totally quality place. Everything you get there is Nina Testaverde. Almond croissants. That's what it was.
With her on that one.
Yeah, the almond croissants. I'm a big croissant guy, so that's going to be a big blow. That's going to be a big blow.
Yeah. Speaking of croissants, I was at Beauport last night celebrating. I'm sorry, not Beauport. Passports. Celebrating my son's 27th birthday, and the popovers there. I think I sucked down 3 of them before dinner even came, so ruined my dinner, but well worth it. But the food was great. Shout out to Eric and Christopher, the host over there. They did a great job. A lot of takeout. It was great to see that they were very busy. Few people in the restaurant, but the takeouts were cranking. So if you're looking for some great food, Passports Takeout, highly recommended.
I'm going to give a shout out, do a little run through shout outs to people that have joined us and have commented, because we love the comments. It keeps us going. Nina Testaverde's with us. Brenda Grimes Davis is with us. Mary Shula, David Leader, Paula Ryan O'Brien, Robert Annette Spanks must be a joint account. My mom's with us. Brianne Casso is with us. Who else we got here? Mary Shula's talking a lot here.
Hi, neighbor.
What's that?
Hi, neighbor. Brianne is our neighbor.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go. Brenda Shaki-Leahy, Kathy Rowley, Joanne Wood, JJ Georgie Melendez, Melissa Joy Texera Prince, Donna Hand, Lois Whitmarsh Hamilton, Pauline, our buddy Pauline, of course. Pauline, did you share it? I didn't see. Did Pauline share it, Pat?
No, I don't have her.
Oh, so
yet.
she's not. Arlie Pat, Michael Bertolino. So a lot of our friends have not shared it, which is disturbing to me.
Hey, I just want to put out. We heard Joey Foote was going to have some shoulder surgery, and I hope everything went well for him because it was around that time. And Brenda Leahy, she's telling us she's out of COVID, the COVID cellar or whatever she called it. So welcome back.
Oh, there you go. I just got to tell my buddy Nick the Greek is texting me, so I just got to tell him I'm on the podcast.
Nick the Greek, he's looking for his Nick the Greek. What are you doing here? Odds for today's game? What are you doing, Nick the Greek?
Nick the Greek is the guy that broke my ribs. I met Amanda Armstrong and Meg Montanino was with us as well. Josephine Fata. You probably won't recognize this room, but this was Josephine. I'm in the Fatas. I bought the house for Mr. Jerry and Jerry Fata, and I'm in the downstairs corner facing the fireplace, the downstairs fireplace for Josephine Fata.
Pauline.
What's that? You got Pauline? I'm sorry, Pat, go ahead.
Pauline's got a message for us that she's donating some dipshit.
All right, thank
prize.
you, Pauline. So that's our second prize that's been donated. Thank you. And Josephine Fata says Sister Julie will be back at Passports in a month or so. That girl is an institution. Julie, I don't know how many years she's been at Passports, but it's been a long time. Oh, look at we got friends in the comment section that haven't seen each other for years that are making connections right now. I love it. Carol Mondell just shared it. Okay, let's get back to work here. Pat, you had a topic. What movie traumatized you as a child? And what movie traumatized you as a child, Pat?
I saw that question come across my feed, and I thought it sounded interesting. And it wasn't as much that something that I wasn't traumatized, but my mother made me scared of it. But one of them wasn't a movie; it was a TV show, and it was Lost in Space. And she wouldn't let us watch it because it was too scary.
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space, yes.
Wow.
And then also when I was about 12, almost a teenager, the Romeo and Juliet movie came out, and there was a very brief nudity scene in it. And she didn't want to let me go. She had to make phone calls to her friends to see if that was an appropriate movie for me to watch. So when I did go, she allowed me to go. And when I did, it was like, I knew I was like, oh, I'm a big grown up. I get to watch nudity. But Scotty commented, Poltergeist was a movie that freaked him out a little bit.
That was a good one.
I think.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
We're gonna make this a 2-part question then. Are you finished with what traumatized you, Chris? The 2-part question is: what was the first movie that you saw that had boobs in it? Because you probably remember. And number 2, what the original one? What movie traumatized you as a child?
It was the movie 10 with Bo Derek.
There you go.
Was that 10?
Yeah.
I can't remember if she was nude, but I do remember her boobs. And then the movie that gave me nightmares was E.T.
E.T. gave you nightmares, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was afraid that a Martian was going to come down and grab me and take me away like they did E.T.
I think they may have. Jaws. Robert and Annette Spanks are mentioning Jaws. That was pretty freaky. Exorcist. Classic.
Mine was Jaws and Creature from the Black Lagoon. And it both made me that I don't like to be in water where I can't see like everything.
Yeah.
Clear water. I have to see the water. Chris, your picture went out for a second. My first boobs was I believe it was a movie called The Deep. It was about
The Deep.
The Deep. Yeah, it was like divers, like out in
all with water theme, mermaids. Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Porky's.
Oh, Ben, yeah.
Well, Porky's were in high school. You had to see boobs way before that in a movie.
Well, I saw my mother's boobs.
Oh. What's wrong with you?
Check.
Brenda Leahy says Ben. That was,
I don't remember Ben. What was Ben?
Rats.
Huh?
It was about rats.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, no.
How about Private? What was the name of the Private Lessons? There was another movie. It was interesting.
Private Benjamin's the only one that comes to my mind, but
no, that's not the one.
Yeah, I don't think so. Porky's.
Porky's was great.
A lot of people got Porky's, Nerds, Tarantula.
I was thinking
1955, The Birds.
The Birds. That's a good one. That's still scary today.
How about the
Hush,
Fog?
Hush, Sweet Charlotte.
The Fog.
The Fog?
The Fog was freaky.
I never saw that one.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch that, Joe.
I don't like scary. Okay. Do you guys like scary movies? I don't like scary movies, so not my thing.
I watch scary movies like through my fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why am I watching this if I have to watch the movie through my fingers?
Good point. Good point. Meg Montanino, Carrie at the Gloucester Drive-In. I remember. I think my Aunt Gina had the paperback book for Carrie, and it showed the girl just covered with the blood. And I didn't see the movie, but like just looking at the cover of the book like had me horrified. I was really young.
Yeah, things like the Omen, that was with the 3 6s, and Red Rum.
Oh yeah, Red Rum.
That was a big one with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
What movie was that? Red Rum. Was that the one with Here's Johnny?
Yeah.
The hotel, The Shining.
The Shining. The Shining. Yeah.
That was one for me. But hey, I just want to add one thing. Pat was saying that her parents wouldn't let her do things. We, of course, were big listeners to music and did everything in my family. My mother absolutely refused to let me listen to Jesus Christ Superstar. When we bought that record, she thought it was blasphemy, and she would not let us play it. So when she heard it, she come running in with the spoon, and that was it.
Times have changed, huh?
Jimmy, was it a wooden spoon?
Yes, it was.
Really?
My mother used to threaten Felicia with a wooden spoon.
But not you, Joey.
And now they're mixing things
I
together.
never gave her a hard time. My sister was a brat. I was a good kid.
I was a kid.
No, it's true. I was a peach. I was a rule follower, and I was a very chill child. My sister, on the other hand, she'll tell you she was a bitch.
The oldest is always the saint.
Yeah, that's me.
That's me.
So this is Nicole's topic, but Pat, can you bring up the monkey tail beard thing? Pat's going to bring this up. So there's a new fashion trend. Okay, here it is. I'm going to bring it up, and it's called a monkey tail beard, and that is so it comes down and around, and I'm trying to think, and there's a lot of people doing this now. I guess there's a lot of people doing it. Chris, first question is, do you think you could even grow enough facial hair to pull that off? And second question is, would you do it? And how much money would it cost? Would someone have to pay you to put in the effort to make that happen?
Well, you know me. I mean, they wouldn't have to pay me anything, and I think I could grow enough hair. Unfortunately, not on my head, but certainly on my face. I could probably do one on my back. And I could probably do one on my urubamba too. You know, us Italians are hairy everywhere but our heads.
Yeah. How about you?
My last name's McCarthy. I got the Italian hair.
Oh, yeah, monkey.
But I would definitely do that. I mean, I wouldn't keep it, but I would try to grow one and then just shave it off after I gave a few people some laughs.
Isn't there a month where you're supposed no something?
November.
Yeah, you don't shave for and so that would be a time you could try it, because if you don't shave, and then you could make it happen.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you
have I'm thinking about, Joey, when I'm looking at this photo here, and the first time I saw it, is, everybody who eats a little bit, whether it be a little bit of sauce or a pastry or whatever, is going to leave crumbs or something. Does that mean it looks like poop coming from the monkey's tail?
Oh, Jimmy.
I mean, take a look.
What's wrong with you,
It's coming out of their ear, maybe.
Well, no. I mean, it's...
That is terrible, Jimmy. You're a terrible human being.
Jimmy.
No, I would not grow that. I wouldn't even think about it. I do a lot of crazy things, but that's off the list.
Well,
not
Jimmy,
you
got a good start, Jimmy.
Yeah, he did.
He's got the caterpillar instead of the monkey tail right now.
Oh, we've got our firefighter on here.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very low signal, though. Hopefully, his signal will be all right. And Chief, we're going to bring him on in just a minute. We just had one thing I wanted to talk about because we told Karin, we can bring him on right now and see if it works out, because he's only got one bar of service, so we'll see if that makes it. All right, ready? Oh, that's better. Now he's got 4 bars. All right, here we go. Ready? Patrick Legro. Oh, it's going in. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, look at that. You look great. You look fantastic. So Patrick,
yes, sir.
We're going to have Carroll on in just a little bit to talk about the vaccinations. Were you vaccinated?
I was vaccinated. I believe it was Thursday of last week, and we had 2 days. Thursday, and Friday was the days that anybody participating in the vaccination clinic on the staff had an opportunity to get vaccinated prior to the kickoff of the clinic that occurred this week, or that ended. So it was actually, I guess, 2 Thursdays ago prior to the main week of vaccinating.
So how did it go? Did you grow any arms out of your head? Or I'm gonna bring the.
It went great.
I'm gonna bring the chief in as well. Hold on one second here.
Sure.
Here and here. Hi, Chief. How are you?
Well, let me get off mute. There we go. I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. So both of you are podcast virgins for GloucesterCast virgins. And if you've ever seen it, we have a little game that we play at the very beginning with our virgins. It's called the Death Row Sub and Death Row Meal. Are you either one of you familiar with it?
I've heard of it. I obviously haven't participated.
Okay. And how about you, Patrick?
No.
Okay, so I'll give you the premise. The premise is you're on death row. You committed a horrible crime. You're on death row, and the warden comes in, and he says, "You can order a sub from any place. It has to be a restaurant, and a meal from any restaurant. What is your sub choice going to be? And where is it going to be from? And what is your death row meal going to be? And where is it going to be from? Have to be restaurants, not homemade."
Go ahead, Chief.
That's tough, man. We got a lot of good choices in town. You put me on the spot. I mean, the old standby. I don't know. It's usually an Italian for me, but the where is usually based on where everybody's ordering from at the firehouse for lunch that day. So, anything from Virgilio's to Yellow Sub to Scalafani's, all over the place. So, we try to spread it around, not participate in one spot too often. But yeah, they're all good. I mean, truly, it'd be a tough choice. If I got to walk there, I'm probably going to pick Virgilio's, close to the station.
Okay, so Pat, mark them down because we keep track. We have a scoreboard, so mark them down for just.
So
it doesn't have to be just Gloucester, just so you know. But
it doesn't have to be. All right, that was my question. My question was just Gloucester, or could it be anywhere? So the sub is going to be a chicken St. Joe's from Virgilio's. That's what the sub is going to be. The meal is going to be really any seafood pasta combination with the Fra Diavolo sauce from Giacomo's in the North End. That's my meal.
Whoa. All right.
Look at that.
Absolutely. Lobster pasta, something like that with a little spice to it. And I love Giacomo's. They're
road
great.
Road trip.
Let's go.
Yeah. Once upon a time when that was so much easier, right? But, Tono would be up at the top of my list if we're going down the Italian line. They do a great job in town, so it's makes it easy. I guess Harborside would probably be one of the go-tos for sure. Menu's always great, but the meals kind of depends on the mood, and kind of what's going on in the market. So.
You got one shot, though. This is it. You're on death row. You got to pick something.
I'm definitely picking lobster. I mean, it's just however they put it together that day, whatever is the chef's choice, but definitely going to go with lobster. Why not?
Very nice. Very nice. Very tremendous answers, by the way. Tremendous answers. So, Chief, would you like to speak about the vaccination clinics and how it got administered and stuff?
Yeah, we can. I don't know. I think Karin ought to be popping on real quick as well at 9:30. So that's really kind of more of her thing. Public health is really the lead agency and driving force behind trying to all things related to coronavirus, right? I mean, it is a public health emergency. They're the lead agency from the federal level on down, and so we're just kind of a piece of that, if you will. And in our community, obviously, you know how we work. Everybody jumps on board and picks up what they got to pick up to get it done. So it's been a ton of work for the last 9-10 months dealing with this thing. But on the vaccination side, on the virus side, it is absolutely critical. I think my opinion is that anybody that's eligible and can get the vaccine when it's your turn through the phases that are getting rolled out, and that obviously in Massachusetts it may be slightly different than other states, but when it's your turn, people got to weigh the options. They got to look at the risk benefit for them individually. I get all that. For me, I think the risk benefit is absolute, and that's why I got the vaccination on Thursday, same as Pat. So I think it's a critical step to getting this thing behind us, whereas all the rest of the things we've been doing have been trying to slow it down and allow us to keep up, right? And quite frankly, the slowing it down works, but we're all getting really tired, really tired of what it takes to do that, and this kind of thing that we can't do live. And I'm a people person, right? I'm the huggy, touchy, feely guy. You can ask Pat. Is like, some guys at work are like, hey, back up a little bit. We don't do the hugging thing here. Well, I'm kind of do, but and my wife yells at me all the time. In flu season, she's like, "What are you doing?" So she's been on track to the mom thing forever. So yeah, it's a big deal. And I get that there's a lot of people that have reservations, and understandably so. But you got to balance out the risk management. When you really look into what Corona does to people that have had it bad, and the impact it's had on their health, and maybe the long-term impact on their health, and people weigh that out to, well, I don't know what the long-term effect of this vaccination is. Well, we're starting to see what the long-term impact can be for Corona on a lot of folks, and it's not good. And so to me, it's, because I'm older, I'm not having kids. I don't have a lot of the same concerns and risks to consider that younger folks would do. But for me, it's an absolute. My father was in a nursing home, dementia. He got coronavirus. It took the last little bit out of him, and he didn't make it back in May. And it's a horrible thing. Honestly, it relieved him from being stuck with dementia. I hate to say that, but
Right.
Horrible disease in and of itself. But so it's personal for me in that regard a little bit, because it's been a lot closer to the family than for some that haven't seen it or dealt with that. So it's I think it's a tough choice, but people gotta pay attention to the real information that's out there, and not just go with the flow or with one individual that's anti-vaccination. Take in the whole picture, make a decision for yourself, an educated decision, and do what works for you and your family. And that's really the bottom line, I think.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I think that's a really important message right there. I think Karen's with us. Let's bring her on.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Hold on one second. Karen, are you showing up here, Karen?
I can see me on this video.
There she is.
Oh, hi.
There you are.
Good morning.
How's it going, Karen?
It's going pretty well. We had a busy week. I'm sure the guys just told you about it. Very busy week, but a very good week. Exciting week. First, vaccines getting out in Gloucester, and it went really, really smoothly. We had a fantastic team. So it's a good sign. Vaccine is moving into the community from lots of different angles, and that's good. Very low audio. Let me just turn this up, see if you can hear me better.
I can hear you just
You
fine.
can hear me okay? Okay,
Yeah.
I
great.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So Karen, can you Chief was given some tremendous feedback on his personal reasons for doing the vaccine and stuff. Can you give us some of some real world statistics to put people's mind at ease? Like, because coming from you're a credible source rather than what people may read from their friends on Facebook and take as facts, the scaremongers and stuff like that.
Sure. Be an annual thing? Will you be able to just get it once and have immunity for life? I think most of the thinking right now is that it will be an annual thing because the COVID-19 is able to mutate slightly like the flu. So, but these are all things that we're learning, but that doesn't compromise what we know about the safety and the efficacy of the vaccine that's available to us now. Does that help answer that question?
Well, we had a little technical difficulty there for a second, so I think we lost probably. If you could just recap like in a couple sentences. I'm sorry, but like we had something happen and we lost just a little bit there. I'm so sorry. Could you just recap it a little bit, Karin? Is my audio on?
Yep.
Yeah, I got you, Joey.
I'm back hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you now. Could you just?
In and out.
Could you? Yeah, Karin, you're
I can see and hear you. Okay. So Joey, did I answer the question about vaccine enough, or did you hear enough of my answer?
No, we didn't. That's the problem. I'm so sorry. Like we lost you for probably 2 minutes, just maybe a minute. If you could just recap it, briefly, why people should feel comfortable taking the vaccine. She can't. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. Can you give us a 1 minute recap of why people should feel? Karen's having problems, I think. I can text her right now. Karin, please give 1 minute recap of why.
Might have just lost her.
Yeah, I think
there she is.
There she is. Hi, Karin. Should feel comfortable. Maybe she sees that pop up.
Okay. I'll go ahead and give the 1 minute recap in case you didn't hear it. What I said earlier is that this particular vaccine has undergone so much rigorous testing, more rigorous testing than you would get for a routine pharmaceutical that you would pick up at CVS. I think people can feel really confident in that. We can also see that this vaccine has been used literally worldwide, and there are very, very few reactions, including what we saw. And some of what people think are reactions are really just your own immune system ramping up, doing what it's supposed to do after it's been exposed to a vaccine. So we had a lot of our folks say that their arm was sore. I'm sure Patrick talked about this. Some people even had a little achy headaches, trouble sleeping, some other type of sensations the day or so after, which is normal and they say is a good sign. It means your body reacted well to this foreign thing and is starting to build immunity to it. We've also heard the second shot can have even more effects afterwards, but these are not adverse reactions to the vaccine, and they are not cause for alarm. I mean, of course, if you're having problems, you need to talk to your doctor or let us know in the clinic. But again, I think the efficacy of the Moderna vaccine is 96%, and the guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the mid to high 90s. So it means that there'll be 5% of people that it doesn't work on. It doesn't mean it'll hurt them. It just means it won't be effective. Again, another reason why we're not there yet with not being able, with relaxing the other necessary precautions, that even after your first dose, your second dose, and a couple of weeks after your second dose, you'll have good immunity. 95% of us will, but there will be a lot of people in the community that won't. And one of the things they're not certain of is, can you continue to spread it? So even if I'm vaccinated, might I be able to spread the virus like the flu or a cold to other people? So we've got a ways to go before we can put our masks away. And we're really trying to emphasize that as people come through our clinics, that, you don't get that first shot and then you're fine. You need that time to get your own immunity and that second dose. And then for the others around, until we reach that 70% of the population getting vaccinated, we're not going to be able to take that step back and not wear face coverings and social distance and all of that. So we've got a little ways to go, but it's hopeful.
Karin, I have a quick question. If someone got COVID, can they still spread the virus to someone else? My guess is yes.
If they got COVID before the vaccines, can you ask that question again?
Yeah. So no, take vaccine out of it. But
Okay.
if someone gets COVID,
Yep.
it just, there are some friends of ours that have gotten COVID
Yep.
and are now think that there's Superman or Superwoman. For them personally, I guess that is the case. But can they still spread the virus to others who haven't had it?
Yeah, absolutely. And they can get it again. So, that's again another part of this disease we don't fully understand yet, but we have seen cases, even with our cases in our tracing team, we have seen people get it a second time. So, yes, you can get it again. You can spread it when you have it. And then even when you have the vaccine, you may still be able to transmit the virus.
Well, there you go. Could you see the question that I typed out to you?
What are the rollouts if you think you fall into one of the categories to get the vaccine? Who do you call? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it because it's generating a lot of calls to our department and Chief Smiths and the mayors, probably to the state. There's no one answer, and it is a constantly evolving thing. So all of us fit in some category. Many of us fit in multiple categories. The first tier is a rather large group of different types of healthcare workers and other members of our community who are at higher risks. So congregate living, correctional facilities, people were living in close quarters where we've had a lot of transmission in the past year. So those priority lists can all be seen on mass.gov. And I think it's a good idea for people to get on there frequently. It's updated twice a week. So it's not like, it's a permanent thing. The state continues to look at it, prioritize, reprioritize. These are all good things. It makes it hard to plan. It makes it hard for us. But that's just the way it is. We're in a pandemic. The name of the game here, from the federal to the state to the local, is to move vaccine out quickly through whatever avenues we can. And that's going to mean that it's not exactly sequential, exactly the way it's supposed to be. And I'll give you an example. This past week, we learned in Gloucester that one of our senior housing facilities has become eligible for a HUD program. So this is a federal vaccination program in partnership with CVS. It's not all of them, and it's coming down into phase 2, and we haven't finished with phase 1. But we're not going to say, "Oh, don't do that, senior." Do it. We've got to get it done.
Yeah, right.
So, I know that's hard. It's really hard for all of us because we know that there are people in that very, very highest risk primary care providers who maybe haven't got their vaccine yet. So part of what we did, Eric and myself and the team this week, was to make sure, as best we can, we went back through and we sent out a notice to all primary care providers in Gloucester. And there were some people that had not yet found a way to get their vaccine, so we were able to get them a vaccine. But that takes a tremendous amount of work and calls, and that we just don't have the staff to do. So, part of it is people need to just keep watching for opportunities. There will be more and more partnerships. I know BI Leahy sent out a notice to all of their patients this past week that as soon as they can in phase 2, they're going to have a way in which you can make an appointment to get your vaccine right with your primary care, which is fantastic. So there will be more and more opportunities. When the health department is running a clinic or supporting a large clinic, we will get the word out. Who is eligible, how you're eligible, where to come, how to book. There is an online scheduling system. There may be populations that we're not able to use that if it's happening too quickly. So we'll work and be figuring that out. But right now we're trying to help people know where to go for information as we hear of vaccine opportunities, trying to connect the dots there and help people find it.
Well, that's a lot of, I can't imagine the sleepless nights trying to get this information out and trying to figure out how to do it. And people, I think my takeaway is that people have to be patient and understanding. I mean, so that whole point that you made, like some federal money or whatever came through, so that
Yep.
level 2 group could get it. You're not gonna say, oh, it's because it's not fair because you're not in the number 1 group. We're gonna poo-poo this money that was free to us to get these people vaccinated.
Exactly.
So I think that was the point that you were trying to make.
Yeah, and the other point is we might not even know about it. There are things happening at the federal, state, and then through different agencies that the health department may not even know. Not because people don't want us to know or they're doing a bad job communicating. It's just that there's so much happening so fast. It's hard to tell everybody all the time everything. But we are continuing to really watch for those priority groups, opportunities, work with the state, and make sure that everyone in our community is getting it as quickly as we can and knows how to get it.
Do you have any sense at all of the timeline for the general public? Like, is there any kind of a sense of a timeline for that?
February 1 is phase 2 begins for general public residents who are 75 years and older will be the first group in phase 2. And as far as we know, it will start, phase 1 is happening on schedule. So hopefully phase 2 will as well. I think it will from what I'm seeing, and we're already seeing some folks in phase 2 getting access now. And then the comorbidities, people with 2 or more comorbidities will also be in that very first group, and that should happen Feb 1. And then general population, people who are under 65 and have no comorbidities, don't work in healthcare, all the other criteria, they'll be in April, end of March to April will be that final phase.
Okay. And so far, what they have said was going to be the rollout. They haven't had any kind of, we don't have enough vaccines to give out. They've been on schedule with what they said they were going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's more, we don't have the ability to take and, run 1,000-person clinics. It's
administer them.
Yeah, I mean, the state health department has plenty of vaccine. We can request it each week. And we have not heard there's any delays at this point or bottlenecks. So, again, it's in public health, what they call the last mile is getting that public health vaccine to people in their communities. I
know there are people that have been volunteering and trying to help whatever I know Carroll Mondello, I think our Pat Dalpiaz has actually volunteered. What information would you like to get out about volunteering opportunities or ways people can help?
We've been posting the maresponds.org website. It's the website for the Medical Reserve Corps, and they're the main volunteer group in Massachusetts right now that are assisting with flu clinics, not just ours. This is actually a federal volunteer program, but we have a local chapter that we've worked with for flu clinics for many years. We have a good relationship, and many of our volunteers are MRC. So thank you. We're encouraging people to sign up there. They do a lot of the scheduling. They check credentials. They sorry, all those things that we will not have time to do. So they'll assist us. I believe we've already requested a couple of MRC volunteers. Should we be doing more clinics, larger clinics, that's where we'll turn to for more volunteers. And I know there are many other clinics running throughout this area that are also requesting through MRC. So you can decide what towns you want to volunteer. If you want to just do Gloucester, you can sign up with that. If you don't mind where, they'll send you an email with the different opportunities, and you can decide. They need non-medical and medical. So it's a good spot to go to sign up and see where they need help. And at this point, we don't have any definitive clinics planned for after this week. We're just finished trying to catch our breath. And then our planning team with the administration will have a look at what the need is in the community. If we find that phase 1 is kind of taken care of right now, we might wait a bit. So it's just a matter of regrouping and kind of having a look, trying to assess who needs what, how quickly. Which is hard to do right now.
No, right. Patrick and Chief, can you tell me what was getting the shot like?
Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, so for me, I had, I would say what I considered the expected side effects after the first round. And I think it's important to mention what exactly a side effect is, because I think people are confusing side effects with getting ill. And a side effect, by definition, is an undesirable but expected result of receiving some type of medication or vaccination. And when weighed with the overall benefit of receiving that medication, or in this case, a vaccination, that side effect doesn't outweigh the benefits, and that's exactly what I expected. Minor inconveniences such as arm pain at the injection site. I had that for about 24 hours. It was noticeable, but not debilitating. Something that Advil or Tylenol easily took care of. And that was the extent for me. And I think talking to a lot of people who also got vaccinated, that was the extent of most people's side effects. There was some also, I think Karin had mentioned, after the second round, they're anticipating a little bit more severe side effects in the first round. Some people had greater muscle aches, low-grade fever. And again, those are expected and not necessarily means that you've gotten sick from this vaccination. It's an undesirable but anticipated side effect that doesn't outweigh the benefits of the vaccine. So I think that's important to mention here, is separate those two, or at least highlight the definition of what side effect is. For me, it was the arm pain. It was very minor. I was over it within 24 hours, and I think most people followed suit with that.
Was it similar to like any other shot that you would get, like vaccination shot that you would get?
So yeah,
when
absolutely.
This arm pain, is that what you're saying, like that?
Yeah, so I've gotten the flu shot before and had a little bit of arm pain. I would say it was more than that, but I would say it's similar to a tetanus shot. Some people like myself, I've gotten a tetanus shot in the same area in the arm. And that was, I would say, as far as all the arm pain I've ever experienced from a intramuscular injection, this was similar to like a tetanus shot. It was kind of the more severe of the arm pains, but again, not debilitating and gone within 24 hours.
Almost like a bruise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Some of the vaccinations that I had back in the Air Force, way back when, it felt like they, whacked you in the arm with a ball bat and left the ball in there. This is not to that level. And I don't even remember what the vaccination was, but it was another one of those two-step shots, and it was no fun. This one was really not that big a deal. And again, everybody reacts and has a variable differential with this. So, it's very individual, but it is, as Pat explained, it's expected. So people should just plan ahead. The folks from BI Leahy, when we were on a call the other day with Karin and a big group of us, their recommendation was, hey, if you're getting the vaccination and you're on round 2, getting your second dose, take that Tylenol or something just before you're going in to get the shot, and then stay on it for 24 hours and then reassess, because they found that folks that did that, those mild fevers and arm pain were far reduced, and they were far more comfortable. And you're talking, these are medical professionals that know what things do. They know the definitions as Pat laid out, and they just, proactively address the issue. And they got through it without much of a problem. I think during our clinic, we've done 500 total, Karin, and I have heard of very, very few people with any significant arm pain, and if any, maybe one or two. And I have not heard of anybody reporting like the fevers and all that stuff on this first round. So, I mean, there is a collection process. So people that do sign up for this, they should understand that there's data collection by the CDC. They sent me, for the first 3 days after the vaccination, a text that says, how are you feeling today? Are you having any pain? Are you having any fever? And they get into the granular details, because they're trying to collect data, because this is still fairly new, right? And to make sure that things are on track with their study, of what they've already accomplished, and then add to that this additional data. So it was good to see that this is being watched that closely, and that we're using technology to make it less invasive in your life and less work for you to report that. So it went well. As a matter of fact, I'm day 7 out from that shot. I got a 1-week follow-up that they shot me another text yesterday to say, how you feeling today, and
collecting that data. Yeah, because the more of that data they have, the more they can put that out to the public to make people feel good.
And I think that as we roll more of this out to the general public, that, hey, we went through our top tier in phase 1, which is our forward-facing healthcare providers, first responders, and so forth on down the line. And as the more data they collect from us, they're going to push down to those next phases and tiers of folks getting it. So they're again making an even more educated decision whether this is right for them, what to expect when they do take the shot, and how to best manage it from home. So I think all in all, this is going really well. My hat's off to Karin and her team. They've been amazing through this whole COVID response, quite honestly, from day 1 up until now. And obviously this is, like I've said, my opinion, this is the solution to the problem. One of probably several, but they're all going to lie in vaccinations, not slowing the spread. Slowing the spread is just giving us time to catch up with the actual fix for this issue. And the fix for this issue, like many other disease processes, are medical care and treatment with a vaccine. And so that's what we're seeing, here now. And yeah, came very quick. A lot of people are apprehensive about that, but they pushed out the H1N1 vaccine in 6 months, when H1N1 was a big deal. So, obviously they know a lot about flu vaccines. This is a bit different, but they've been studying this for 10 years at least, that I know of, and the reading I did. So again, I have a lot of confidence that this is going down the right path, and that, I have confidence in not only our system, but you look across the world. We're not the only ones looking at this and studying this and testing this. And if it was really a problem, someone would have shouted it out loud by now. Right now, you hear the medical community shouting that it's safe, let's get this done, and participating in that. So that gives me a lot of confidence to move forward with the thing.
If I'm handling lobsters, wholesale lobsters and retail lobsters, does that put me in the food category for the phase 2? Karin?
I have no idea. Good question. But
exactly.
he's fishing. He's still being a fisherman. I love it.
Well, I'm not a fisherman because I don't want, because my lobstermen would absolutely laugh at me if I called myself a captain. I'm on the dock. I just because that's a whole, I have utmost respect for my lobstermen and the fishermen. I'm not a fisherman. I'm a wholesale dealer of lobsters. So Karin.
Some folks in the food chain and grocery store workers are a little higher up the list for exactly that reason. They're providing essential services. So
yeah. All right. All right, great. And I just, on the record, I plan to get it the day that it's available to me, and we'll be glad to push out that information and with a photo, whatever it does to, if anyone cares about who cares about my opinion, right? I think these other guys are much more intelligent and probably know a lot more about the thing. Jimmy, you had a question, didn't you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was playing Zoom and I was raising my hand like a teacher, a student for class. This is great. This is like a classroom. I have one for the chief and Patrick. Hey, how is with this COVID? How's that? How you doing with your manpower and everything else? How's that working out? I'm sure you had to make major changes, and how's it all working out for you guys?
Yeah, so far so good. We reacted immediately to what we had to do policy procedure wise to keep ourselves safe in order to respond to the public and not get ourselves sick and taken out of the play. Right? We can't go out and serve the public if we're at home sick ourselves. So just like everybody else, we're all wearing masks at work. Nobody likes it. It stinks, but it is part of the deal. We were well positioned prior to COVID with PPE, and we maintained that throughout this. Our personnel have been absolutely diligent and completely 110% responsible with the use of and how to operate in this environment and not waste PPE. So we set our policies and procedures in place as to, okay, when do we need to put on the respirators, the high efficiency masks, the N95s? At what point do we need to put them on? And as the information has changed from all the studies and so forth that are out there, CDC guidelines, we've adapted. One of the ones that I wasn't buying into and that we wouldn't allow early on was that, well, if you're not doing certain procedures, you can go ahead and wear just a regular surgical mask in the back of the ambulance and so forth. And we didn't do that. I maintained the response that no, we're wearing high efficiency respirators because we're not getting our people sick at that point way back when we really didn't know enough about this thing. Because in the fire service, we have the luxury of a thing that we could put on our back, which stinks to wear around all day, but we could put on an air pack and wear a mask if we had to. So if we exhausted our supply of N95s, our backup plan was to put on an SCBA, which would be horrible to try to do EMS work, but we could do it, right? And so we weren't diluting our known standard protective equipment because of a supply issue when we had a backup plan. I get why others had to do that. Private EMS doesn't have air packs. They don't have them at the hospital either. So they had to make some tough choices that, thank God, we didn't have to. And fortunately, we're kind of ahead of the game, looking at a lot of our counterparts on the PPE. We've been planning for a bad day like this for a long time. So we keep that supply in reserve, all the time, and rotate it when we need to and expend it as needed. So we've done a lot of good things. Our EMS coordinator way back, Sandra Schultz, who's still on a job with us but moved into a different role, started that push way back even prior to H1N1, and we ramped it up back then, and we've never let it go, and actually ramped it up even more, especially when we've seen, Ebola when it popped up on the radar here a few years ago. And so these things, when people pay attention to what's going on the planet and the world and prepare for it, and you have the support of the mayor and the city council to fund those necessities, those aren't nice to have things. Those are necessities. When something like this pops up, you got to be prepared to deal with it. And that's what we train for. That's what we plan for. And that's what the mayor and the council and folks, have to budget for and be responsible to make sure it gets done. And so thank God our community has done that. We've had a lot of great leadership. We've had a lot of great employees and push and effort from the ground level all the way to the top in this city to make sure that we're good to go on a lot of things. And this is just another one of those that we were ready to handle. And not every community around us was ready like this. So I feel pretty fortunate and blessed that, we've had that support. And again, it starts no different than this clinic. It starts from the mayor on down. We can have all the great ideas in the world and beat the drum, but if she doesn't support it and the council won't fund it, it's not going to happen. And thus far in this response, she's been right at the forefront of all of this. And if we haven't had it locally and internally, then we go regionally, like you see with this clinic. And at the same time, she's all the way up to the state level and the federal level, pounding them to fund it, address it, and get it done. And everybody knows the mayor. She's not going to go unheard. If she has an issue, she will be heard, and she's going to get an answer one way or the other. And typically, if it's rational and reasonable, the answer is yes. And she's been extremely successful in getting that yes, and getting the funding, and getting what we need to get the work done. So, in the background, what you don't see is all of that effort, which eats up 24 hours a day of her schedule. Same with Karen's and everybody else that's involved in this thing. And, quite frankly, we get to sit here and kind of be the poster boys, Pat and I, but we didn't do it most of this work. That's getting done by others. We might be out on the street every day, but there's a ton of support behind us to allow that to happen.
Yeah, no, kudos to our mayor. She really has maintained tremendous relationships with our representatives higher up the line, and it seems like when we need some help, they're there for us, and it's really a nice thing. So, Karin, just, if you want to wrap up and just say what can people expect as far as communication, and so they'll know. Where should they go, or what should they expect? And we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I think the best thing they can do is go onto the mass.gov. When can I get my vaccination? So you kind of know what groups you're in, and then you can get your vaccination at the highest group you're in. So if you're 65, but you're also a home health worker, you're going to meet that higher criteria. So familiarize yourself with that. And then I think really just keep watching the mayor's webpage. Vanessa in the mayor's office is working closely with us to put out any information that we have about where the vaccine is. If you are, you can be looking at your primary care provider, check their Facebook or website. And if you are part of a larger primary care provider, you may be getting an invite for, based on priority level, an appointment for your vaccine. Some employers will start to move it out. Bigger employers may start working with a clinical partner like CVS or us or a home visiting nurse agency to move it out. And I think just, trying to be a little patient that, again, a couple of weeks won't matter in the big picture here. We'll be working through it this spring so everyone can get one. But like I said before, even after the first one, you're not immune yet. So we're all in this for a while. Even if you got your first shot, you got to wait a while. So it's about just remembering to keep that social distance, avoid gatherings if possible still. That's where we continue to see the most clusters in our community and the state is private gatherings, social functions. So, avoid them, minimize them as much as possible, move them outside. You're socializing if possible. I know it's tough this time of year, but that continues to be the most dangerous activity. So limit it. If you do go out where you're 6 feet from people, just keep watching our websites, the city's Facebook page. We'll be doing press releases. And then if there is a specific group being targeted or getting access, we'll work really hard. We have email and distribution lists for lots and lots of folks. I mean, we have inspectors that work with almost every industry or group in the city. So we will be pushing out information that's relevant to them through the chamber. We partner with, all of these agencies as soon as there's any word, making sure people know.
If you could just pass on to Vanessa, if she has anything that she wants me to get, I'm pretty good about whenever she sends me a press release, getting it out. Just remind her to keep us in the loop. So, because we have a pretty tremendous, number of people that look at the blog every day. So I appreciate you guys coming on. It was great to have you guys. Thank you for your very candid death row sub and meal answers.
Joe, hang on. I have a question. I have a question for the chief.
Sure.
We need to see your best Fire Marshal Bill impression.
Oh yeah. I don't have one of those. Sorry, not me, brother.
Does anyone on your staff do a good Fire Marshal Bill?
Yeah, I'd hate to admit it, but Lieutenant Dowsett probably does one of the best, as well as the Grinch. I mean, I don't know, Pat. What do you think?
He's here, Chief, if you want me to get him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That'd be an order. No.
That would be an order.
Yeah. Sure. No hugs for you. No hugs.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on, guys. We really appreciate you being here and all your information.
All right. Awesome. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks for having us.
That was great. Oh, wow. Hey, Karen.
Awesome.
I'm
Thank you
trying
so
to
much,
leave.
Karen. Let's see. Oh, man. That was fantastic. I
They
mean,
did a great job.
oh, my
Lots of
goodness.
information there.
There's a lot to digest. So people that are just tuning in right now, this video will be available on Facebook. Also, after tomorrow, it gets sticky to the top of Good Morning Gloucester. You'll be able to see it there too. And please, I'm going to remind people to share the podcast. If you share the podcast, you have a chance. Nina Goodick donated one of her ceramic bowls. We have
Koozies.
koozies from Wayne the Mailman right here. And was there something else, Pat? What am I forgetting?
Yes, the dipshit from Pauline.
And dipshit from Pauline. So we have 3 prizes this week. So if you share the podcast and type shared in the comments on Facebook, Pat, oh, there you go. Felicia shared it.
Yep, we're up to 13.
We're up to 13. So three
14.
things. Oh, there we go. Way to go. We have another topic, Chris. I think this led my interest, and it was your topic. Worms have been approved as human food. Mealworms have been approved for human consumption. Pat, can you bring up the thing?
Yep. Just writing down this, Sharon. Hang on one second. Okay, that's 15, Laura. Thank you. And
so once you get it up there, I'll explain.
Hey, how did I do on my one job, Joey?
Did you do it? Did I need you?
No, you don't need me.
All right. So what you're looking at right here are mealworms. And mealworms have been approved for human consumption by the EFSA, which could help insect-based foods flourish within the European Union. Mealworms have become the very first insect-based food to be approved by the European Food Safety Agency.
Yeah.
Who's eating mealworms?
Me.
Yeah. I wonder if who's eating crickets? Because I've eaten crickets. Have you eaten crickets?
I've eaten crickets.
I've eaten crickets. Pat and Jimmy, no crickets.
not on purpose.
I've eaten tripe too.
If any of our listeners have had crickets or anything that resembles a mealworm, I want to type it in the comments. But
Joe, here's a question. Mealworms and tripe are known to cure COVID. Which one are you going to eat? The mealworms or tripe?
okay, this is what I'm going to say. The mealworms probably look more disgusting, but if you but I bet you like the crickets, if you dried them out and you put some like nacho seasoning on them, they might be tasty.
Nacho seasoning, or if you just put them in, your hamburger when you're making burgers.
Wayne the Mailman asks, "Is there anything Chris doesn't eat?"
I'll try everything at least once.
No, I'm going for the tripe. You would get me on the tripe for that if I had to choose.
So you would eat the worms, Jimmy?
No, the tripe.
Well, you got to cure COVID, so you have to eat one or the other.
So take your pick, Jimmy.
I'm still going with the tripe. I'm not eating those worms.
But
Mama taught me not to eat my food.
I think this is the thing. I think that you're thinking of them as like slimy, like wiggling around. But I think that if they're dried, again, I'm going back to the crickets because the crickets tasted like, not just like potato chips, but whatever. It assumed whatever the flavor was of the seasoning that they put on them, and they were dried out, dehydrated, and crunchy like a chip.
Right.
So I just have a feeling that they would be less disgusting than tripe because the tripe was the absolute worst I've ever had in my entire life.
Come on, man.
I do not want to know McCarthy's poop stories after eating any one of those.
Everybody who appreciated the kinder, gentler podcast last week, please let me know.
Patrick. Pat. So there you go. Pat, you want? Pat,
speaking of pooping,
the IRS delayed the start of the tax filing season.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. Just saw a headline yesterday that the IRS delayed the start of the filing season until February 12th. And it got me wondering where you stand in your tax filing. Most people do things by habit. We are early tax filers. I usually have mine done at the first part of February. This is going to delay me like a week or more. And I was wondering about how everybody handles their tax filing.
do you want everybody's social security number too, Pat?
No, yeah, I'll take that later.
I'm a late. I always do mine late. I'm terrible. I vowed after last year. I vowed to do it early, and I always have like one or two pieces that I'm waiting for, and I collect all my. Oh my God! I hope my wife's not. No, I can't even talk about it. But I collect all my tax papers, and I write taxes in big letters on them, like in the envelopes, and I put them in a pile. Somehow they always get misplaced. Then I'm always. Carol Mondello says I had my first W-2 into TurboTax on December 31st. Nice work. Carol Mondello on top of things. She's very on top of things. So there's that. So Pat, what is the process now? You can't file how come Carol got to file her taxes?
Well, a W-2 is just a piece of paper you need in order to file your taxes, and you're supposed to get them by the end of January, typically.
Okay. So she didn't file her taxes. She's just bragging that
I don't think so, but unless they sit and wait until the government's ready to accept them.
All right. I don't know how that goes.
And it's not, December 31st.
What's that?
I'm seeing it says December.
So I have a thing where I haven't been really eating ice cream for a long, long time because it makes me sleepy. So we happen to be out, and Chris's beautiful wife, Charlene, who are out on the later side, she suggested that we go McDonald's drive-through. Hey, Shasha, this is you. Hi, honey. She suggested we go through McDonald's drive-through for their, what do you call, is it Dairy Whip? What do you call that, Chris?
Vanilla soft serve.
Vanilla soft serve. And I have to tell you, I don't remember it ever being so delicious as it was that day. So, but Chris, your topic was Dairy Queen or vanilla soft serve. What's your go-to?
For me, it's Dairy Queen because they have the dip, the chocolate, the cherry, and the butterscotch dip. McDonald's doesn't. McDonald's doesn't even have like crunchies or Jimmy's that they can put on it. So it's just a pure.
Use the mealworms.
I forgot. Yeah, I ate them all before I could get the ice cream. But Dairy Queen's my go-to, but McDonald's is a good backup because Dairy Queens usually close around 9. McDonald's stay open later. But I know, Joe, you had it on 2 different occasions. You had a vanilla cone, but the second time we went through the drive-through, the night after, you had the Oreo flurry thing at McDonald's, the crushed Oreos.
Okay, so for that, I'm gonna have to tell you, the simple at that stage of the night for me, the simple Dairy Whip was more
satisfying,
like of a umami sensation for me.
And I see Robert's pulling up or said something about Carl's Cones. We went to Carl's Cones for the first time last week, and it was great. They serve Richardson's Dairy ice cream, and I grew up across the street from Richardson's Dairy, so to be able to get Richardson's Dairy ice cream close by. Highly recommend Carl's Cones, right across the street from the office. Or George.
I'm going to give a shout out to Cafe Bishko because the girl, Lynn Silva, I think her name is, she posted a photo of a Reese's Pieces sundae. And I don't know if the sundae had, Chris keeps coming in and going out. All right, you're distracting me now.
I'm sorry. It's my connection.
Okay. She had put a picture of a Reese's Pieces sundae. And I don't know if they're doing ice cream now or if they're making the sundae with the froyo. So I should probably get some clarification on that. But it looked, I'm a big Reese's peanut butter cup guy, and she had the big tube of the peanut butter, stuff on top of it and whipped cream. And
we might have to go for a taste test.
I'm in. I'll pick you up.
We'll do it early enough so Joey won't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Joey.
If we leave before I mention this, my mother is going to come to my house and assassinate me. So get the link ready, Pat.
I'm doing it. I got you.
Thank you very much.
I got you covered.
So my mother got this for Christmas for me. It's a beautiful cheese board, right?
Wow.
See the cheese cutting action with the Good Morning Gloucester logo engraved by BrittBarryDesign.com. She can do cutting boards. She can do all different kinds of things. Go to Britt Barry Design, not designs, BrittBarryDesign.com. I would be remiss. That's right, Scotty. I would be remiss if I did not mention Britt Barry Design. Did I say Britt Barry Design enough?
Yes.
Ma,
that is an awesome gift.
You can get one of these.
That would be a great gift for your Merry Castaways.
That would be. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. I think next week I'm gonna make this a podcast prize next week because we have 3 great prizes.
Oh, great idea.
You're regifting?
What's that?
I'm just saying, imagine all the tripe you can cut with that board.
Oh yeah. Good point, Jimmy.
What does my sister talk about? Yonana's classic original healthy dessert fruit soft serve maker. Oh, you can buy one. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's a game changer.
By the way, Chris,
as a matter of fact, one of our FOBs, Brenda Grimes Davis. If people aren't familiar, wait, where am I? I gotta go. Where's Brenda Grimes Davis's thing?
Right here.
All right. Mama Portnoy, the people from Holy Cow made a special. Mama Portnoy, David Portnoy is the founder of Barstool Sports, and he has the Barstool Fund, which is bailing out restaurants around the country, and they made a certain amount of batch of the Mama Portnoy's sour cream cake ice cream, and 100% of the sales are going to the Barstool Fund to help people that are having problems keep restaurants going and stuff like that. So Brenda got it, and she said it was fantastic. I believe it was her thing. So there's that. So I think we got everything in.
Okay, we got 16 shares right now.
So good. Thanks for reminding me. All right, we got 3 prizes. So Pat, I don't like the way you did it last week.
I didn't like it either. I couldn't see.
Because you're supposed to do it, because the way we're supposed to do it is the first person to respond with what they want gets to pick it.
But I couldn't see anything.
Oh, okay. Can you see this week?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the way it's going to work. I'm going to do 3 random numbers, with a random number generator. And the first person, the name that gets picked can get the first choice only if they type in what they want before we pick the second person, because if the second person gets picked and they type in what they want of the prizes first, they get to leapfrog you. And same thing with the third prize. The 3 prizes we have, once again, we have 2 awesome koozies from Wayne the Mailman. I got to go like this right here. We have a bowl from Nina Testaverde Gudick. And we have, what was the other? Oh, and Dipshit from Pauline Brezhnehan from Pauline's Gifts. Pauline's closed this time of year, isn't she? Is she closed for the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think she
All
said
right.
you. Yeah.
All right. So no one has shared it in the time when they could have shared it and been entered in the time that I just gave that whole spiel, but they didn't. So they're not in the chance. They don't have the chance to win unless one comes in while I'm in the process.
Joe,
What's
how do you like my cold sore?
That's very, very sexy. Very sexy.
See that?
Pat, you said 17, Pat?
16.
16. Okay. 1 to 16. All right, here we go. First one. Oh, I got to pee so bad right now. 14.
14 is Felicia.
Felicia, you have the first pick. You know the prizes, and you can, if you type in what you want before the next person, then you can pick. 14 again she doesn't get it. You can't only win once. 7.
Number 7, Brenda Grimes Davis.
Brenda Grimes Davis is number 7 if she's watching. And can you see right now? Okay. 4.
Number 4, Michael Bertolino.
Michael Bertolino, second time winner. There you go. All right, we're gonna give Felicia. What does she say? God, next week redaunced. What does Felicia say? God, next week redaunced.
I see Brenda Grimes Davis says dipshit, please.
All right, dipshit for Brenda. Felicia, I don't understand what Felicia's type. Did she pick something?
Maybe
I don't think
she
so.
Maybe she said she wanted my cold sore.
No. Oh, redonate, she said. Oh, so we're redonating.
Redonate.
Whatever the third gift, whatever who Michael Bertolino is going to be regifted for next week. All right. So Michael Bertolino, if you're still with us, I'm going to count to 5. 5.
Koozies for Michael.
He's got the koozie. So Nina Testaverde will be a gift for next week, and so that's great. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Go. Who's everybody rooting for today? Are you rooting for Brady or are you rooting for not for Brady? Jimmy, go.
Brady, no.
And Chris, how about you?
Patriots.
I am. This week, I've flip-flopped every week. I'm rooting for Brady this week. I flip-flopped. Jimmy, I want you to do the sign-out because I'm not going to do the music. I want you to do the sign-out.
Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely no piping plovers were injured in the making of today's podcast. Thank you.